Good morning. I'm doing something very different today. I thought it would be a great time to reintroduce myself because there have been a lot of newbies, not newbies, but new peeps to follow me that don't know what I'm about, or they come to my channel and I am a multi-passionate writer mama. So you see a bunch of different content. I just lost my voice last week, so I'm still kind of recovering, but I wanted to share a little bit about myself and a very exciting tag that I'm gonna do because I'm literally like flipping out over this tag. Heather Mattern, if you guys don't know me, a lot of people know me as Hello Blank Page, because I literally believe that each day is a new blank page that we get to write to manifest our dream life. So you can find me over on Instagram at Hello Blank Page. I am a witchy mystic, which basically is I'm a witchy person that experiences the divine in my own way. I came out of a very religious, it made me who I am, so I'm not negative towards it. I'm a PK, for those of you that know what that means. I'm a pastor's kid. My husband's a pastor's kid. My husband was a pastor. I grew up in that life, and I'm a witchy mystic. So you're gonna find all kinds of things here. A lot of the more personal stuff I talk about over on Patreon, but I do share stuff here about the journey. And one of those big journeys has been tarot, and it has been a journey to get into it, to not scare my family and husband. By family, I mean my immediate husband, kiddos, family. But I am in love with tarot. So I wanted to do this tag, the 21 questions, because I feel like as a newbie, my very first official year in tarot would have been, I think 2020 actually, maybe 2019. I got my first deck way before that, but my first official, like I'm studying a deck, I'm diving in. So I'm a newbie. So I'm doing the tag as someone who feels like a total newbie. So take all my answers with a grain of salt, but I have a bag here and I'm so excited to share my 21 questions. And you guys, going into 2024, things are gonna shift on my YouTube channel. It used to be that I saved all of the witchy mystic stuff for Patreon. Patreon is where I will share the deep, don't want other people finding it, specifically, like, I don't know. But I'm gonna be leaning in closer this next year, and I'm gonna be talking more about the witchy mystic stuff. So we're gonna be diving into tarot, we're gonna be diving into witchy books, witchy mystic books, and more about my journey. So stay tuned for that, but consider this a little teaser for what's to come in 2024. I hope this lighting is okay. I understand I look horrible. I don't look horrible. I'm just a mess, but this is what you will get on my channel. Authentic shit, because that's how I do things. I do not edit anything. The only time I ever edit something is if I get a call in the middle of a video and I have to exit, and then I just splice things together. I never edit otherwise. So what you see is what you get, and this is real life because that's what I want to see in other people. Okay, let's talk. Let me find it. Where is it? In my weeks, I did the whole like 21 questions. I believe it was Lisa that started it. I will put her original video down below, and then I'm also gonna link, because it was so fun to watch, and I literally like had a whole fandom experience and went down a rabbit hole with Dawn Michelle, and oh my gosh, I just found you and like binge watched all your videos, and I can't remember your name, but they did a live It was so good. So I'm put both of those videos down below, but we're gonna dive in. 21 questions. Number 1, what is the deck that they will have to pry out of your cold, dead hands? I have 2. I'm sorry, I broke the rules. But we are rebels here. So just so you know, like, honestly, is this the only one I broke the rules? I think this is the only one I kind of broke the rules. Some of them I didn't really maybe answer how other people would want me to. But there are 2 decks that I am never, ever, ever getting rid of. It doesn't matter how much you want to pay me. Like, I'm not getting rid of these. One of them I bought, and one of them was a collaboration. And both of them are literally, like, these are my soul decks. These are the 2 that literally, like, okay, the first one, Tarot of the Holy Spectrum. This was the very first indie deck that I ever bought. This was the very first deck. No, it was not the first deck I bought for myself, but this was the very first deck that I spent way too much money on. I mean, it's an indie artist, so I didn't spend too much money, but at the time, I remember telling my husband, hey, I'm buying a tarot deck. And he was like, what? Like, at the cost? Can you just, even just this, my heart beats like, this deck made tarot make sense to me, if that makes sense. Is this an order? No. So I'm just going to share a few. This is the Fool. There's something about this deck. Death. The cardstock too, let me say, like, okay, I need to do a whole nother tag or message you guys, because those of you that are watching this that are in the TarotTube community, could you please do a video on decks for small hands? I have very small hands. When I was dating my husband, like, he actually compared my hands to like his 10-year-old sister's, and we had like the same size hands. So my hands are small. So it's very difficult for me to riffle shuffle any deck. I think I have 1 that I can riffle shuffle, 2 maybe that I'm gonna share in this whole 21 question thing. But back to the question, I will never get rid of this deck. This deck spoke to me in a way that no other deck ever has. The Magician, I love that it's like as above, so below. The coloring, this deck is mine. I almost listed it for another question, which is a deck you'd never let anybody, or you'd never read. What was the other question? Number 16, I think. What deck would you never use to read for someone else? I didn't reuse it because I'm trying to pick different answers, but this is my tarot deck. Nobody touches this deck. Nobody. This is literally my deck that has my energy only. Some of my favorites, the Lovers for one. Hello. Like the mirror. Lovers, looking in the mirror, yourself. Your twin flame is you, people. Like, can we just talk about that for a second? I mean, I'm not, but I wish we could. Yeah, your twin flame is you. It's nobody else. Also, love the Empress card. Is she pregnant? She's not pregnant. I have a thing with pregnant empresses. I know that may trigger some people, but like, the other favorite, I mean, this is just my deck. This is just, yeah, you're gonna have to pry it out of my cold, dead hands, okay? And again, the very first indie deck I ever bought, I am definitely, and you'll know as I kind of share different decks with you, that I am 100% indie. I'm an indie artist. I'm an indie author. So I'm very fond of indie, supporting indie. All right, the other one, again, an indie, because I couldn't decide between the two. The other one, Doodle Tarot. This was a collaboration with the creators, and this is so me. Just like this is me, I feel like this is kind of like my shadow me, but not really, but because I didn't look at it as I don't look at it as a shadow deck. This sees me in a way that nothing else does. This sees me in a way that nothing else does too, but it's in a fun, like, I'm a journal girl. A lot of my content here is journals and planners. And the Doodle Tarot, I mean, just look at that. Just look at that, lovers. It's on, like, composition. Look at this deck. Look at, yeah, never getting rid of this. This will stay in my arsenal forever. You are not going to pry it out of my cold dead hands. Like, it is literally, this is the lovers. And our collaboration, I had the choice to get the deck with or without the guide words. And because I was sharing it with my community, I went ahead and got it with the guide words, and I love them. So it gives you the regular and then the reversed. It's amazing. It's amazing. All right, can we just pause for a moment and note the breast and the, I should probably say nudity, but this isn't really nudity. It's just, I don't want to show like reversals, but it's just so good. It's so good. It's just so good. All right, we're just going to kind of go through here. This is strength. Look at that. It just connects with me on a level that my childhood, my inner child loves this deck. Like, yeah. Pry it out of my cold dead hands, people. It's so good. And look at the backs. This is my soul back. Let's talk about it. All right, so this one, I love that it's matte black. If you guys know me in person, you know that my husband is a motorcycle rider, and we are all about, like, his helmet is matte black. Like, matte black is sexy. Let's just talk about it. It's so sexy. So I'm all for the matte, and I'm all for the freaking composition notebook backs. And let's talk about how the two that you're gonna have to pry out of my cold dead hands, both on their own, because I did not edge them, have the black. I mean, hello, people. Maybe there's a theme. I don't know. But that's the first question. All right, I'm going to try to put these away and move on, because I could just talk about these for forever. Literally. Okay, guilty pleasure deck. Did I bring this one? And am I going to show it? I did bring it. I'm not going to show it. I'm not going to show the cards, because then, I mean, I do say this is 18 and above. I can't show you the actual cards because I don't know all the rules here with YouTube. I just got monetized like a year ago. Guilty pleasure deck, Tarot of Sexual Magic. This was actually gifted to me by a friend because I am the Wild Sexy Life chick. I have a wild sexy marriage. I am very into how everyone should live their wild, sexy lives. It doesn't matter if you're single. It doesn't matter if you're married. It doesn't matter. We all need to be enjoying a wild, sexy life. This deck, here are the backs. She gifted it to me, and I love it. In my home, because I do have grandbabies. I have 2 grandbabies, a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old. I do keep it hidden. But I pull it out on occasion, especially when I'm working with a new novel, because I am writing a sexy novel under a pen name. Good luck if you try to find me. But this deck, I'm trying to see if I can actually, okay, here. We'll show a couple that are not super like, this is my guilty pleasure deck, and I do use it. There's no nudity. It's just, can't show that. because I'm not going to blur things out. Here we go. It's cheesy, and that's part, like, I don't tell anybody I own this deck. It literally hides in my bedroom. Trying to see ones I can show that are not like pushing boundaries. But yeah, I mean, this is Tarot of Sexual Magic, because you know what? Sex magic is a thing. Tantra is a thing. It is very important. And I'm a fan. So we will leave that there. That was number 2, Guilty Pleasure deck. Number 3, what's the deck you wish existed? All right, I have not done my research. Again, I started my tarot journey in 2020, so I am still a newbie. But if I were to pick if I were to pick a tarot deck, I want to see a Charmed tarot deck. I just started watching Charmed this year. It could already be out there. I have not researched it. I just haven't seen it in the tarot tube world. So I've seen the Buffy one that just came out. I love Pooh, like the Winnie the Pooh one. I totally want, and that is out. Missed the Kickstarter, so that's a bummer. But I would love to see a Charmed or a Lucifer. Those are my 2, like, could we just see a Charmed deck? If there is a Charmed deck, please let me know, because I'm on season. Growing up, as I've kind of already hinted, I didn't grow up allowed to watch certain things. And so I just started watching Charmed, and I'm in love. I'm in love with Charmed. So I haven't even finished the series, so don't give any spoilers. But if there is a Charmed deck out there, if you would let me know, I'd be like ecstatic. But again, Lucifer, coming from religion, I loved Lucifer. So if somebody wanted to do a Lucifer deck, I mean, I can visualize like the Empress, the Emperor. I can visualize the cards. So I would love a Lucifer deck. Okay. Number 4, what deck would you give to a new reader? And this is going to probably hit people the wrong way. I wouldn't. I would not give a new reader a deck, ever. I was given 2 decks when I shared an interest in tarot, and I believe that you had to be given a deck. One of the decks was the Wildwood Tarot, right? Wildwood. Never opened it. I mean, I've opened it, but I have not worked with it. I pulled it out to work with it. It was like, what? Second deck I was given was the Nicola Ciccoli. Again, I was like, what? A friend finally told me, who was into tarot, she's like, no, go to your closest metaphysical store, go in with the intention that you want to learn tarot and you want to be shown what deck you should learn on, and let your intuition guide you. And I did that, and that was in 2020, and a deck called to me that literally changed my life, which we will be talking about in another question. But I was given 2 decks and neither of them vibed. And honestly, if I had been given a Rider-Waite, because I know that the Wildwood Tarot, Nicola Ciccoli, like, they are not normal tarot decks, but I still think if I was given, I actually have my book here, the Radiant Rider-Waite. I own the Radiant Rider-Waite. It's the only Rider-Waite deck that I own. But they could have given me that. They could have given me the Light Seers, and it still would have had the same effect. That it wasn't until I was ready to say, I want to learn this, and I go in looking and listening to my intuition, that I actually had a relationship with tarot. And so I would say I wouldn't give a new tarot reader a deck. I would do what my friend told me. If somebody came to me and was like, what deck should I start with? I would say, go to your metaphysical store. Go look through the decks. Listen to your intuition and see what calls to you, and go with that. Start there. Because my tarot deck that I started with was totally never ever what anyone would ever recommend anyone starting with, but it had a tie to me. and my claws got into tarot and would never leave because of it. So my answer to that question is I wouldn't ever give a new tarot. I've given decks that I think people would enjoy, but as far as a new tarot reader, my response would be follow your heart. Go explore what calls to you, because if something calls to you, you're going to sit with it and you're going to do the work and you're going to do the studies and you're going to buy your own Radiant Rider-Waite to compare because you want to know. But if I gave you the Radiant Rider-Waite, it's going to lose you because you're not going to like the artwork. So that's my answer. What deck do you want to get along with, but it never clicked? I just gave this away like a week ago, and that is the Marielle. I fell in love with the YouTuber Sacred Seed. Is that her YouTube? She's not on YouTube anymore. It's so sad. I loved her. Her tarot journal videos were amazing. She was obsessed with the Marielle. I bought the oh no, wait, I didn't buy it. Somebody gave me the Marielle and I was so excited to get it. And I've had it since 2021. I just couldn't. Like, I was so excited, but I just couldn't get along with it. And I held on to it for years and literally just did a trade with a friend. And I was like, I'm not using this. It's literally sitting up in my closet. So hopefully it will bond with her. Maybe it'll come back into my life, because many books that I have experienced have like left and then come back. But currently I tried for years and we just could never bond. What deck do you only keep for the art? Okay, let's talk about this. This artist, I will buy every one of her decks. I will. This is not a tarot deck. It's actually an oracle. Is it the only oracle? There's two-ish. I have two that are not, well, three that are not officially tarot. This one I bought for the art and I keep for the art. But it is not a nice, I wouldn't necessarily say it's not a nice deck, but this still gets to me whenever I use it. And that is Roots and Wings Oracle by Kat Riles. Love her. I am a patron of hers. This deck, there's something about the watercolor, the cardstock. I mean, look at the backs. I bought this for the art and keep it for the art. And again, I can't help myself but to be a patron of hers because of the art. Like, her art held. I mean, there's something minimalistic. She also lives in North Carolina, just like I do. So a lot of her art features the Blue Ridge Mountains. It features like transformation. I feel like I could literally start weeping just flipping through Kat Riles' deck here. I keep this for the art and I do use it. And let me tell you, it will be kind to you, but do not consider this a kind deck, because it will show you things when you least expect it. I mean, this is Storm. I mean, hello. Like it, and she's got a new deck coming. So I will, this is one of those artists that I will forever buy her decks. No matter what. I will literally just take my money, Kat Riles. Like, seriously. So that was number, that was number 6. What deck do you only keep for the art? This is hard going through these because I'm an empath and I have all the feels as I walk through each of these decks. I'm feeling a lot right now. Let me just tell you. Okay, number 7. What deck did you buy because everyone else did? All right, I'm gonna get my mini deck out here because I'm actually currently studying this deck-ish. I bought this deck because everybody else did. The Line Strider Journey. Again, I'm a watercolor girl. I do have the regular size deck It's upstairs, but I had to fit everything in this bag, so I did not bring down my regular size. I am using the mini for weekly pulls in my tarot journal. And so I'll just kind of flip through this mini real quick. I will say the guidebook's amazing. My buddy read a series, which we'll talk about later again, the Maggie Stafffider, oh my God, Raven's Prophecy series, and they talk about the ley lines. And this entire deck, in the beginning, they talk about crossing those ley lines. And so I dove into it. I bought it because everybody else had it, and it was watercolor, and I love the minimalistic approach, but I didn't really start diving in until this year because of that deck, or because of that series that I was reading. But the artwork is gorgeous. It honestly has my very favorite Empress card. This is my Empress year. Well, I chose the Empress as part of my word. It's not my actual, like, do the math Empress year. But the Empress is my card this year, and this is my very favorite Empress ever. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Come on, focus, people. She's not pregnant. She is the freaking embodiment of sensuality, which is how I see the Empress. I also like the Emperor. The Emperor is my birth year, or my birth card. So when I look at a deck, I always look at Lovers, the Empress, the Emperor, Hermit, and Hierophant. I don't know why. Those are like my top. But like, look at this. I love this Hierophant too. But I bought this because everybody else did. Again, I do have the normal size deck upstairs, but I am journaling. I'll show you this week. Actually, this week we had the full. You can see. Kat Riles got her mini deck. That was actually part of her Patreon that she sent me. She sent me that. Where is my... Here we go. So I throw it in, I journal with it. Love this deck. Bought it because everyone else did and fell in love with it. So thank you, everyone else. Thank you, TarotTube. I will say this guidebook is everything. I don't keep it with the cards. I literally keep it with my other tarot books because the journaling prompts in here. Oh wait, are the journaling prompts? There's actually not, I feel like there was a journaling. Oh, they have keywords, they have correspondences. The correspondences took me down a rabbit hole of journaling prompts, and I just love that. Okay. What deck is over your head or baffles you? Let's talk about this. This one, again, this is not a tarot deck, but this is Ratty Runes by Nina Ryle. Love her, one of my favorite tarot tubers. I bought this for myself and one for a friend. My friend is very educated in runes. She loves this deck. I have never worked with runes, so I thought this would be really good for me to, like, a starting place. Love that it's got her pet Ratty in it. I am fascinated with the runes, but I feel like a complete newbie where I don't even know how to read. Like, I'm looking at the runes and I'm just like, I'm trying to learn a new alphabet. So this deck is way over my head. And it has, like, let me just show you. It's so gorgeous. And I love it that it's got her pet rat, and it's got them, basically you've got the rune and then you've got an action that's happening that helps you describe what the rune's about. You also get guide words, but I don't know if it's just me because I'm in my 40s. The guide words are really hard to see, let me just say. But this is her actual, that's Ratty, and Ratty passed away a couple years ago, I believe. But you can see, even here, you see the guide words, but they're very light. And for my aging eyes, it's very difficult. Runes in general are just over my head. So, but I had to pick this deck because I want to work with it. I just really don't know how. Honestly, there's no guidebook. I thought it would help me get into runes, but you guys, if you're into runes, can you tell me like where to even begin? Because I'm lost. So that is definitely one that's over my head. I love the little tin that it came in. It is an indie. I will try to put all these links down below. It is a indie deck, I think. I love it, but it's just over my head. Okay. Number 9. What deck surprised you? Okay, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this one. We picked up this deck in Savannah, Georgia. I did not realize this was an indie deck. We went into a comic book store and they had Dame Darcy's comic books and then one Dame Darcy tarot deck. And it was a mermaid tarot. And we had just, my husband and I, we were staying in the most haunted hotel in the entire city. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. Let me just say, if you've not been to Savannah, you got to go. You got to do the ghost walks, haunted tours, cemetery tours, do the whole shebang. It was amazing. We did have some ghost encounters-ish. We had some weird things happen at the hotel that we stayed at. But one of the stores had the mermaid tarot and I immediately was drawn to it. So my husband bought it and I don't remember how much it was, but I believe it wasn't as much as what I've seen it online. Love this deck. And I wasn't intending, like, I'm like, we're there. It's the most haunted place, like, around, close to us. And I was like, I gotta buy a tarot. And so when I saw this, I was like, yes, a mermaid tarot here. We had just went to dinner at a haunted restaurant that had, like, stories of pirates. And I was like, all right, we're doing this. And this deck is amazing. I love the artwork. I love the quality. I can't riffle shuffle again. I would love to see people do a decks for small hands. Because I can riffle shuffle a card deck like nobody's business. But a lot of the tarot decks, they're just too thick. I just can't with my small hands. But I just love the colors. I love the mermaids. This deck surprised me. I thought it would just be like fun and flirty. But the readings I get with this deck, like, it's amazing. Amazing. 8 of Pentacles. It's sexy, but not in like a sensual, like my guilty pleasure deck. I mean, like, look at that Empress. Guys, can we have more Empresses like her? I understand that I love the Empress in regards to like birth. You're birthing creation. You're the earth mother. You are the one that is manifesting and like all of that. But the Empress is also freaking sensuality and like femininity. So when I just see like pregnant women that seem quiet and like, the Empress is strong. Like, show me a woman giving birth. That would be my ideal Empress. Can you just show, is there a tarot deck where there is a woman in a pool, like my daughter had home births and she's had 2. Just give me, like, if you want to show a woman, if you want to show the Empress pregnant, show her in a birthing tub with the blood all around her, mid-scream, baby coming out. Like, if you want to show a pregnant Empress, do it like that, where she is strong. She's freaking given birth in her own home, like primal. Anyway, didn't mean for this to be a rant. This deck surprised me. I love this deck. Totally surprised me, especially coming out of a comic shop store in Savannah. Fell in love. Okay, we're like at 30 something minutes. This is a very long video. Okay. What deck doesn't work for you, but you keep it because it's a collectible? All right. Collectible is relative because you guys cannot buy this deck. It's a collectible to me. I'm an author, I'm a writer, and my critique partner made a deck for herself. And it was made based on many videos we've shared together, like her feelings. And it is an oracle deck. It is not a tarot, but she literally made this. These are the backs. You will not find this anywhere. It's just between me and her. When I see this deck, I see her. This is a deck that I keep because it's a collectible. It is the only collectible I would consider in my deck. This is Jericho. You got the villain, like the spider, river. I mean, the uncle. Like, this is her coming up with her own deck that literally I get because I know her. Like, I know her. So yeah, this is not a deck you can get. It is not for sale. It's beautiful. The hallway. The rebel. Okay, this, for those of you that don't know, my main name is Quinn. I'm not Harley Quinn, but I was at one time Heather Quinn. Harley Quinn is actually sitting on our little Adobe is named Harley Quinn. So this definitely resonates with me. But again, it's a collectible. Like, you can't buy it. So it feels very sacred to me. Yeah. Okay. Number 11. What deck is your favorite gilded deck? I am not a big gilded fan. So I took this question and went in my own direction. Oh, all right. Let me take a sip of water real quick. Okay. Thank you for my Stanley to my future daughter-in-law. It's amazing. I'm a highly sensitive person, so feel is everything, which again is why, hello, could you please do anyone out there in the tarot tube community that's not a newbie, because I am, could you just do a video on small hands, highly sensitive small hands? My favorite deck, not for gilding, this does not have gilding. Gilding tends to hurt my hands, and even the prior to my cold dead hands deck, I can't shuffle those. I have to I kind of let it fall, or I do, I'll shuffle in different ways. My favorite deck quality is kind of how I took this question, not so much about gilded, because again, how can I answer the question when I really don't like gilded decks? Is the Magical Nature Tarot. This was a collaboration with the artist. You guys, this deck, the Magical Nature Tarot, loved collaborating with her. This deck is a highly sensitive person's dream. Someone's knocking on my door. Okay, again, I don't edit. I pause when there's an interruption and then just splice it together. That's my vibe. Okay. To me, authenticity is sexy, and my whole brand is Wild Sexy Life. Okay, so back to my favorite feel of a deck. The creators of this collaborated with me, just like Doodle Tarot. That was a collaboration. I wish I could tell you, because again, I've only been doing tarot since 2020. I wish I could tell you what the feel of this is, but it is my most favorite feeling deck to actually hold and shuffle. I also have dry skin. I have European skin disorder. My hands are small. This deck is, if every deck could feel like this, and again, my hands are still, this is still big. Like, I'm having to tuck my fingers. to riffle, but it's the closest thing to a dreamy tarot deck. Like, and I will say, this deck does not pull any punches. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Again, this is the Magical Nature Tarot. You can follow them on Instagram. They do pulls and stuff. It's like naturally dyed fabrics and things. Stunning, stunning. This literally, again, instead of pulling cards, I just want to sit and shuffle this. I think I might actually turn on Charmed tonight because my hubby's out of town. I might just turn on Charmed and shuffle the Magical Nature Tarot because it gets me in a highly sensitive person kind of way. If you are a highly sensitive person, you need this deck. Could I just say, I will link my review of them. Honey, you're gonna have to go to your place. I'm doing a video, okay? Love you, girl, but hey, place. She's not gonna listen to me. It freaking has diversity. It is gorgeous, gorgeous. Do you wanna say hi? It's gorgeous. And everything's upside down. So yeah, that's the question. All right, go to your place. Good girl. Good girl. Okay. Hey, place. Am I gonna have to pause you again and splice it again? All right, lay down. Hey, lay down. Down. Harley, down. She's gonna lay it on top of the tarot cards. Down. Good girl. Okay. Number, I don't even know, because I did like these like little circle things and I scribbled out the numbers. I think we're on number 12. Which deck do you love but you hate the card stock? This is easy. Place. Place. Harley. Down. Again, no editing. You get my frustration with my dog. Hey, down. Down. We'll see. I think we're back. A deck I love, but hate the cardstock. That's got to be the Good Tarot. I love the Good Tarot for many reasons. One, the name. The name, literally, for those people that are afraid of tarot, if I go to my parents' house, if I go somewhere, or if somebody new is coming over that doesn't know that I read, the stories I could tell. And I pull this out, it's the Good Tarot. They're not gonna get any like bad juju. They feel better about me playing with the Good Tarot than say Tarot of the Abyss, which is one of my actual favorites that I'm working with right now that did I list this? Oh, I did. Oh, I did. All right, we're gonna talk about that in a minute. I'm currently working through the Tarot of the Abyss. This one, or even this compared to Rider Waite, which I also have here somewhere. It's just friendly. So this is Strength. Like, it just is bright. That's Justice. Like the Tower. I mean, that's a friendly Tower card, okay? I really do love this deck. I have trimmed it. It was big and square. I have, again, the tiny hands, and this I cannot ruffle. Let me just show you what it looks like. I thought I could, so I trimmed it. I cannot get my fingers like, yeah, I have 10-year-old hands. But this deck is just, I love it so much. I love it, but it is, the card stock, it's like sticky. I don't even know how else to put it. It's sticky. I've used it a ton. I actually went through and card by card did a modification. I don't know, unless I take sandpaper or something, which has anyone ever done that? I don't know. it just, the cardstock, I don't like. I don't like it sticky. I tend to read with jumpers, and I love that it jumps. So I love like things that are slippery, but it sticks, and I just can't. I just can't. So that's, I won't get rid of it because I love this deck, and it is the best deck if I'm going to read for someone who has reservations or who's never been around tarot. I leave this. It doesn't fit in the box very well either, and it came as this size, and I cut it, but it still is a pain in the butt. But this one I leave downstairs because some people don't know I'm into tarot. But I'll leave this downstairs because it's great. All right. What deck gives you the willies? You guys are going to laugh. You're going to laugh. Tarot Illuminati. It gives me the willies. If you know why, let me know. Maybe it's the word Illuminati and like us being part of the Matrix. And all that jazz. I've had this deck. This deck was gifted to me for a while now. I know people who started on this deck. And it's not even bad cardstock, I will say. It does have the gilding. The gilded is beautiful. I have not actually played with it. Again, the gilding tends to hurt my HSP hands, highly sensitive person hands. But I like the backs. This deck just freaking, I don't know. It just gives me the willies. I don't know why. Like, this is the Empress. And I love that she doesn't look pregnant and she looks strong. Like, I love that. I've not given it away because I've had so many people say this was like their learner deck and they loved it. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about it. It just, do you know what it is? Based on my favorites and stuff? What the freak? I'm trying to see, like, I don't know. I don't know what it is. It just, I don't know if it's their expressions. They almost look like they're trying too hard or something. Like her expression, like it's fake. I don't know. I'm all about authenticity. I don't know. I don't know what it is about this. It just gives me the willies. If you know why, if you've been watching me a while and you know tarot, tell me why this gives me the willies, because I cannot figure it out. And I don't think anybody's mentioned that about this deck. But again, because I get rid of decks frequently, I've not gotten rid of this one, and I don't know why. I don't know why, but it definitely gives me the willies. Okay. Favorite deck for shadow work. Okay, this is one of my all-time favorite decks, period. Where are you? Oh, you're over there. All right, I have to pause so I can get this deck. Be right back. Favorite deck for shadow work. I was between two, but I'm trying not to duplicate. So I chose this one, and I decided to leave the second one for a different prompt. Harley Place. My husband got this for me for Christmas last year. Came with this super adorable knitted case, but that would be the Terror of the Abyss. Terror of the Abyss. Let me tell you, you guys, this artist, Anna, is it Anna? Again, my eyes are not that great. I'm gonna totally butcher her name. This artist is also the artist that has done my number 21, the number 21 question. So I'll save it. I'll give this as a teaser. The 21st question that I'll be answering has the same artist. And my goal is to own everything that she does. Let me just say, kind of like Cat Riles, I will buy all the things. My husband got this for me and I am obsessed. And this is one of my favorite 2 shadow work decks. The backs are gorgeous. I don't really read reversals. I mean, sometimes if I feel like I should, but most of the time I focus, because I'm still a newbie, on the actual upright meaning. But did I just put this? This is in order, you guys, because I just started working with it again. And one of the ways I bond with my decks when I haven't worked with them in a while is I put them back in order. And I did that with this one last week because I knew I wanted to work with it for fall. And I also have a bunch of shadow work I'm doing. But the Magician, this is an all black and white deck. This is the Fool. Possibly one of my very favorite Magician cards. This is the High Priestess. Love it. Again, I do love this Empress, even though she's pregnant, because she does seem strong still. She seems like she has a mission that she's working towards. If you want to portray the Empress being pregnant, just portray her as a strong, pregnant, fiery, sensual woman. And this woman has that. So I like this Empress. The Emperor, again, is my birth card. I like this Emperor. A little pet peeve of mine, not that this is part of the question, is to have a human Empress with an animal Emperor. I'm like, WTF? Like, hello? I like for them to be a pair. So if the Empress is an animal, have the Emperor an animal, you know. One of my very favorite Hierophants ever is this one, the Wise One. The Wise One, I love it. I honestly really love this deck. I do wish that they had done something different for the Lovers. I'm a tree girl, but still, I would have loved to see a little something different. Because again, when I look at a deck, I usually look at the Empress, the Emperor, the Lovers, and the Hierophant. Those are like my top 4 things that I look for in a deck. Love the Strength. Like, the Hermit. I love the Hermit. I love this deck. I love this deck. So this is definitely a shadowy deck for me. And as we go into fall, I do have a lot of shadowy work that I'm going to be doing. But it's gorgeous. It's just it's gorgeous. Okay. I got cards everywhere. All right. Number 15. What deck do you love in theory and not in practice? And you guys are all going to come at me about this. And I do keep it in my very special bag. But the deck I love in theory, but not in practice, is actually the Rider-Waite-Smith. I don't know, everyone's going to be like, this is what everybody tells everybody to start with. But here's my thing. I am, again, I'm a very highly sensitive person, authentic, intuitive. I feel like people need to read tarot intuitively. And that's just a personal thing for me. I love, most of these are actually Rider-Waite-Smith focused decks. And I love the Rider-Waite-Smith in theory. Like I had a reading in May? And I don't even have an issue with the artwork. My issue is that, just like with spirituality, I love spirituality in theory, but spirituality oftentimes gets mucked up by rules, and I'm just not a fan of that. So I look at Rider-Waite-Smith, I look at Thoth, whatever, Marseille. I look at it all. I look at tarot when you want to put it in a box as a spirituality. And spirituality is not meant to be put in a box in my mind. So I love Rider-Waite-Smith as a theory. And I think that I'm grateful for Rider-Waite-Smith. I'm grateful for Pamela and her artwork. Like, we have the tarot decks we have today because of the things they have done. Rider-Waite-Smith, Marseille, Toth. Like, I'm very grateful, but I think tarot, just like spirituality, is a personal intuitive practice. So that's why I chose that one. Again, it is the original, like, it is the deck I started with was a Rider-Waite-Smith based deck. So I keep it in this special bag that my husband got me with a Berkana rune that one of my really good friends made for me, of the Berkana rune with the goddess. So obviously I feel like there is a sacredness to Rider-Waite-Smith, but in regards to, I don't know, it's just different. All right, Harley Place. I'm almost done. What deck would you never use to read for someone else? Place, down, down. Okay. Never reading for someone else ever, and that would be not only my Tarot of the Holy Spectrum, but Raven's Prophecy. This was, and you can see I've got like a little bag for it. This was the first deck I ever worked with. It was not the first deck that I owned. Again, somebody bought me a deck, and then somebody else bought me a deck. This was the deck that I went in after my friend said, go to your store, find what calls to you. And do you know why I purchased this deck? The only reason, I was a newbie to tarot, didn't recognize any of the names, but I recognized this one because I had teenage daughters and they were obsessed with this author, Maggie Stafffider. They read, she had like a wolf series. She had like all these different series, and I was a writer. I was immediately drawn to her name, picked up the deck. This is the very first deck I ever worked with. And it was nothing like most people say. Most people would probably tell you never ever start with a deck like this. And this is actually not my very first version of this, because I edged the very first version and then I gave it to my niece and then repurchased it because giving it away, I was like, I cannot live without this deck. So I bought a whole new one. Husband, you did not hear that. But yeah, this deck, I don't read for other people. This deck, I even feel teary talking about it. Like, it taught me tarot. And it taught me how to read tarot in an intuitive way. The same person that said, go into a metaphysical store, listen to your intuition, buy a tarot deck for yourself, was also the same person that said, when you study tarot, look at the card, write down everything you see. Don't even think about it. What do you see in the image? Write it all down. And then after you write down everything you see, write down how you feel. And I didn't have any tarot books. I literally did that, and that's how I learned to read intuitively. This deck is my deck. I won't read it for other people. This is one of my very favorite Hanged Man cards, which is my card of the year for 2024. So I got lots of feels about that. This deck just, it's got a soft spot in my heart, and I just won't read for anybody else. It is not a nice deck, but it's kind. It's like, it's the bittersweetness. I have also read the entire series, Raven's Prophecy series. Buddy read it with a friend. I love this devil. This deck, and this is another deck, let me say. So out of all the ones I've shown you, there's only been 2, I believe. Can I do this one? So again, this one kind of hurts my fingers to riffle. The only one I can riffle shuffle out of all of these so far has been the Magical Nature Tarot, FYI, for those who have sensitive, small hands. So that is a deck that I would never read for anyone else because it has my energy all over it. It was my very first deck that I ever worked with. Okay. What deck will you never use for yourself? I don't have any. I do not keep decks that I would never work with because I try to be a minimalist. I have one bookshelf, so all of my books that I keep have to fit on that one. I don't have a whole bookshelf, but so my bookshelf is actually a bookcase for my books and my husband's books and the grandbabies and all of that. And then my tarot has to fit on a shelf. So I'm not going to keep anything that I would never use for myself because I read mostly for myself. I am a self-practitioner, I guess you could say. So I don't have any to share with you. What deck could you not bring yourself to buy? I still debate because a friend recently, like literally days ago, told me I should buy it, and it is the Tarot of Vampires because it is sex. She's like, it's sexy, it's your vibe. I've just not been able to bring myself to buy it. I don't know if it's because not really into vampires. I'm a Halloween girl, like Hocus Pocus. I have the Hocus Pocus deck. Love all things like the Dark Mansion tarot, like love all of that. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about it. I've just not been able to bring myself to buy the Tarot of Vampires. I don't know. Okay, favorite pip deck. All right. I don't know if, I'm assuming this would be considered a pip deck. I love this deck, you guys. I found this deck on vacation with my husband, and we use this together regularly. This is the illuminated playing cards. And yes, I consider it a pip deck. It comes with this really cute little like guidebook that literally like, we play cards with this deck. We're a big, like we play spades, play rummy, Shanghai. We are a card playing family. Little does his parents know that card playing came out of tarot, but yeah, love this brochure. The deck comes with two. You have the gold and then you have the navy, and it's a pip deck and I'm obsessed. So you don't have like, let me share a little bit about I found it in Roanoke, again, on a vacation with the hubby. Let's see if I can get it in order. They give you different games you play, how to do a 3-card tarot reading. Then you have the card meanings. Okay, so Ace of Hearts, emotional, spiritual, or creative flow. 2 of Hearts, balance, moderation. The 2 of Hearts is also temperance. I mean, it goes, this entire thing is the meaning. So could you consider this a pip deck? Some of you may not consider it a pip deck. I definitely do, and we play with them. I can shuffle these. Hello, we're a card playing family. Super easily. They're like tiny. Yeah, so let me just show you like what they look like. 7 of diamonds. This is the Jack of diamonds. 10 of diamonds. Again, you have like, it's just so cool. I love it so much. The 0 would be the Fool, or yeah. I love this. I love this deck. We play with it regularly. Okay, let me show you the gold. Again, so just as an example, I mean, you have the darker, let me just kind of, I mean, you can see the vibe is different. Let's just split it. I love this deck. It's a pip deck. So let's find some like, yeah, like the 9 of spades. There's an image on like all the cards. This is the Ace of Swords. Six of clubs. I mean, this deck is also over my head, I could say. But I freaking love it. I freaking love it. So I have to say, I don't know if that would be considered a pip deck, but to me it works as a pip deck. So that's the one I chose. This also is one that I will forever have because one, I got it with my husband, but two, anytime I've played with this, things have happened. Like I've had spiritual experiences. So this will never leave my house either. Where are we? We are almost to the end. What deck slaps you in the face? Even as I mention it, it literally falls out of the container. This deck knows me so well. It is the deck that wants me to write a book. It wants me to write a book all about highly sensitive people. And every time I pull it out, it reminds me of that. And it says, where the freak is that book? I went through a NaNoWriMo with this deck where I pulled a card and wrote either a short story or a poem. This deck is this is the other one that I would mention if I were to list another shadow deck. Tarot of the Abyss and the Nicoletta Ciccoli Tarot. This is my inner child deck. This deck pulls no punches. I can riffle shuffle this deck, which is beautiful to me. Don't mind the backs. It punches me in the gut. It answers every question. It is not a nice deck, I will say. Some of these I'm like, it's not nice, but it's not good. Like, this is not a nice deck. This is a deck that you want to call on your great-great-great-grandmother to come and like whip you into shape. That's what this deck is going to do. It's creepy because you do have like these childlike images, but I should read you some of the poems that have come out of this deck. I won't get rid of this deck either. This is also one of my favorite embers. Again, my birth card. The Fool. Yeah, this deck literally slaps me in the face. And what's funny is the artwork was not meant for the tarot. Like the artwork was created way before and they just chose the pieces to fit the cards. But it has a soft spot in my soul. It does. I honestly want to get more of her art because I know she's got some books out there that are hard to find, but it's my inner child. If I have something I'm really working on regarding my inner child, this is where I go. Shadow work, like other shadow stuff, guilt, shame, here, inner child stuff, this is the deck. This is the deck. Okay, last one, the deck that got away. Happy to say that it has gotten away and I have literally been stalking everyone that has gotten their hands on it, which is the Bloodstone and Earth Flesh. You guys, when you do your whole flip throughs, I'm just literally sitting there drooling like, come on, I cannot buy that. Like, I'm like, I can't spend the money. Like the most expensive deck, I have not spent $100 on a deck. I have spent $60. I'm trying to think, my most expensive deck would probably, I don't have it out here, but it was probably $70. I just can't spend, like, I've not spent $100. So to get a $400 deck, even though I want it so bad, like I'm watching you guys flip through it, I'm just like, I cannot spend that money. So I consider that the deck that got away just because I chose to let it get away. So it didn't get away because I missed the opportunity. It got away because again, I have one shelf and we have a budget and I just have not been able to bring myself to pay that. But that is my, like, if I if I were to snap my fingers and have a deck in my hands, it would be that deck, the Bone Stone Earth Flesh, which happens to be a deck also created by the same artist who did the Terror of the Abyss. Now, happily I say this, because guess what, guys? I don't know if you know this. Many of you do if you're in the tarot community. They are actually going to mass produce it. So even though it won't be the indie version on the amazing cardstock, I'm sure, with the original like first edition artwork, the artwork is shifting and all of that. But I'm freaking excited because I can actually afford to have that deck in my hands. So currently it's a deck that got away because it's like my dreamy tarot deck if I were ever to like pick one. But I'm gonna have it in my hands in 2024 because it is going to be released mass market, and people like me who have a budget and can't spend a ton because I only have one little shelf, I will get that in my hands. I hope you enjoyed this rambly video and hearing a little bit about my tarot practice. I love all of these. I will try to add the hashtags and everything so you can go watch all the people. Yeah, until next time, enjoy your wild, sexy lives.